All right, y'all, these Negritos were some of the first people to inhabit the Americas in ancient times. This is true. The indigenous people were described as so black that they looked like infernal devils. Explorers like Hernando de Soto, when he got to Florida in 1512, he started warring with the Florida Indians, who he described as big, black. We've always been here. We are the indigenous people.
Imagine like a white European coming here, of course, without knowing that they were in a completely new land that has not been found by anybody but Native Americans, and seeing people with dark skin, you know, in times when you can't take a picture with your phone, you know, like even like the people who came here, the Europeans who came here, were people who were illiterate or people who were like looking for fortune. You know, it's not that they brought like artists or they brought, you know, like any. So they did their best when they went back home to describe what they saw, and it was like people with dark skin. Of course, if I go back to my country, spend a couple of weeks there, like I have dark skin. And not just that, like when I tell the story that my father used to call me Negro because I was the one in the family with the darker skin. He used to call my mom Negra. And in this case, in my country, it's not an insult. It's just, it's more like, well, you have dark skin, you're a Negro, or you're a Moreno, or you're a Negra, you know, or Negrito. So, that's a thing in Spanish that happens, and sometimes these people who are wishful thinking, they find the word negro hidden there, and they think that it refers to Africans, when it's just a thing in Spanish, that you use the word negro, like you said, either as an insult or also as a way to describe a person that doesn't have white skin.
Biological anthropologists like myself spend our lives studying how humans evolved and why we differ from one another physically. Our skin provides one of the most visible markers of human variability. Using measured skin colors and environmental data, it showed UV intensity does indeed predict skin color. Wherever UV is strong, skin is dark, like it is near the equator or at high altitude. At the poles, the skin of indigenous people is almost always lighter. That suggests that variation in human skin melanin production arose as different populations adapted biologically to different solar conditions around the world. The thing is, where once human migrations took many generations, we now move about the planet at the speed of sound. That means increasing numbers of us have pigmentation that's not a good match with where we live.
People with fair skin and red hair, your phenotype is telling you you have a high risk of skin cancer if you're out in the sun. If you're a dark-skinned individual living, for example, in Scandinavia or in Minnesota, you're not going to have optimal exposure to UV for optimal vitamin D synthesis, and you need to take supplements.
We now know that we need to make cultural adaptations like these to stay healthy, but that's not all we've learned. With the knowledge we now have about evolution, we also know that skin color is a flexible trait that has changed through time as various groups of people moved to sunny or less sunny parts of the world. And we know that skin color is inherited independently of other traits and is not associated with other aspects of a person's appearance or behavior.
You know, present-day DNA, where we have mitochondrial DNA, we have you know, peer-reviewed science studies. You will never find a peer-reviewed study that holds any water in any Afrocentric or Abocentric based study.
When it comes to contemporary white archaeologists, they're like, oh no, that's the white man's science and this and that. But when it comes to these like 19 or 1700 white dudes who never set foot on the Americas, when they draw a picture of this,
that's different, yeah.
When they draw a picture of Moctezuma and he has these cherubic features, and yet colored with dark skin. All of a sudden, these are the guys we should believe, not the guys that actually use genetics and
yeah
and immunological studies and all that kind of stuff.